I know that I don't typically make videos like this, but I just kind of needed to just like sit down and just kind of let it out. It's fucking appalling to me what society has shown me just since I made the statement that men should have equal say in whether or not they have kids and whether or not their kids are aborted. So same thing. Man, like I knew that there'd be controversy, but I didn't quite expect this. And what shocks me so much is, again, I knew that there'd be like resistance, but I didn't think that it was like, holy fuck, you know, even someone that's also a male activist lost her mind on me. Lost it because I said that. And many people are angry with me saying, you know, you can't do that because that's taking away a woman's right to choose. You can't do that. Two wrongs don't make a right here. But if you're talking about equality and you want to fight for equality, that means that you have got to give each person an equal fucking opportunity. Do you not? So, yeah, you could argue, I carry the child for 9 months. It's my body. I have to birth it. You know, this, and this. But, you know, think about what we've been doing to dads. Forcing them into having kids. Making them pay for them for 18 fucking years. Even when they've said, I'm not ready to do this. Women, we have a right to choose. It's our body, our choice. No, I'm not ready. Right. But when they say that they're not ready, they have to pay for it for 18 years. Now, let me fucking tell you, if that were happening to women in this day and age, well, it wouldn't be. So, it pisses me off that the biggest argument is, well, then you're stripping away rights. What the fuck do you think we've been doing? And again, two wrongs don't make a right. But you've got to give two people equal opportunity. And that's a really difficult thing when you're talking about children. You know, somebody that wants it, somebody that doesn't, somebody, you know, that carries the child, and somebody that says that they want to pay for it and raise it. You know, it becomes a very messy topic when you say, you know, who should have that right to choose. You know, essentially, I think we'd all like to say that that little fetus has the right to choose, but, you know, unfortunately, it's helpless and it's got the world around it to choose for it. So, again, the woman is making that choice for 3 people, not just one. Now, you know, the biggest argument is, well, what happens when you start forcing women into having babies? You know, a really common one is, oh, you know, the suicide rate would be very high. Do you not realize that men take up 86% of the suicide rate? 86%. And I'm currently looking into how to do this, but I'm going to do a study and I'm going to prove it that parent alienation and domestic violence towards men are a huge contributing factor to that. Because let me tell you, just sitting with my friend tonight and listening to the ways that he's like, man, this woman abused him psychologically, emotionally, verbally, manipulated him in all which ways, abused him religiously even, cheated on him, broke their marriage, broke their vows, and he has to pay her money for 3 fucking years. Could you imagine? Okay, now on top of that, he has to pay out a total of $2,400 a month, and he is only left with a total of basically $1,500 for himself. You cannot survive in Calgary, anywhere, off of what the state takes and what, you know, our provinces take from men. You just simply can't. I believe that it should be illegal to make their child support payments more than a third of their living expenses, because what fucking sense is that? Mothers, if you're a mom and you're watching this and you're doing this to a dad, I want you to fucking stop and think for a second. Most people don't fucking care, it seems like, but maybe you will. Stop and think for a goddamn second. what that's saying to your kid. You are inhibiting him from moving forward and pulling himself out so that he can be the dad that he wants to be for his kid. You are enabling your future self to be able to say things like, oh, he's a deadbeat. He doesn't care, this, and this. Man, how can you do that? How can you expect men to live? My friend was paying a full mortgage on a house that he doesn't live in. It's half and half, so she has to pay half of it. Nope, he paid all of it. He's paying the insurance on a van that is completely paid off, and he has no legal obligation to. He's giving her $500 extra a week, in which he has no idea where that is going because he goes over there and there's no food in the kid's fridge. She gets child tax, she has means to do this. We calculated it tonight, and she will take $50,000 from him at the rate that it's going right now. $50,000 a year from him. And you know what he's going to bring home? $20,000 a year. I understand why so many men kill themselves. Why so many dads end their lives. And fucking audacity of some of those moms to say, because there's a lot of toxic moms that'll say things to their kids, your dad doesn't love us. Your dad left because of you. This. These are things that they say. And so, not all of them, right? Again, not all of them. There are a lot of good moms out there. And again, there are, moms that are single moms because they're keeping their kids safe. But there are a lot of them that are just alienating. And, I could not imagine having to pay for 18 fucking years to my abuser. Taking everything that I have. He can't even get on social assistance. He can't get any sort of assistance because any sort of money he gets, she's entitled to it. For example, he gets some money. He has a work vehicle, so he gets some money for his work vehicle, okay? And the money that he gets for his work vehicle, he has to give her $200 of it. How does that make any fucking sense, man? You want to talk about suicide rates, man? We're doing it. Another big argument that I'm seeing is disgusting, and it's, doing that is increasing the risk of child abuse and neglect. So you're fucking telling me that a dad is more likely to abuse their kids than a mom? That's not true. That is statistically not true. Statistically, moms are more likely to hurt their children than dads. I am not saying that to say women are worse than men. There are dads that abuse their children as well. I am saying that is not a valid argument whatsoever because statistically speaking, that is not true. It's not true. Just like how people think that, people who are abused will, grow up in abuse. And it's actually not true. 70% of them won't go on to abuse. So, again, it's building off this idea that men don't have the ability to be parents. They don't have the ability to be caring. And they just simply don't have a fucking right. Well, you know what? What fucking right do I have to take that away? Every time I think about this, I think about the video of the guy, I don't think I have my phone in here, of the guy screaming, screaming for his kid. Screaming, begging, fucking begging. You want to hear it?
Help her to listen. Help her to listen.
No, don't do it.
Oh my gosh. It's not right. It isn't right.
I'm such a good dad.
I know, honey.
I took care of her kids too, and the guy that she's let back in her life doesn't even take care of him.
You want to tell me that because I have a vagina, I have the fucking right to do that to another human being? Shit, man, I don't know how any human being can listen to that and not just be fucking crushed. People are saying, oh, you don't know what the circumstance was. You don't know if he was a bad guy. Who the fuck are you to sit there and put your own circumstances in there? I don't see a fucking bad guy there. I see somebody who is outside an abortion clinic, by the way, begging his girlfriend not to abort their baby because he wants it. He wants to take care of that child. He says, I'd be such a good dad. I've had friends personally who have been affected by the lack of choice for the life of their future child. And I can tell you that men grieve that child the same way moms do. They grieve that loss. That is their DNA. We raise men to believe that they need to build a prodigy. They need to have their legend, their legacy. And then you want to say that they have absolutely no right, that we're allowed to just do that to another, we're allowed to do that to them. But the thought of somebody saying, hey, that's not right, stop for a second, sacrifice that so that a child can have a life and a father can be a father. You know, it doesn't even really come down to this, how can you force a woman to have a baby and this, and this. My eyes, it comes down to being a human being, man. Stopping for a second and getting out of our own selfishness for just 5 seconds, and just thinking about what that person could be feeling. You have to give up 9 months of your life to have, so that that child can have a life and so that that dad can raise that child. You can sign your rights over, I'm sure lots of dads wouldn't even go after the moms for money because that's not how they're fucking wired. I'm sure a lot of them would be happy to just raise that kid. And, but we say no. You don't get that choice. I'm definitely, I don't really know. This whole thing has actually really kind of switched my views because, if abortion was abolished, this wouldn't be a problem. You know what I mean? But I mean, again, however, it goes to the other side where men should be able to say, I'm not ready to have a kid. Should that result in abortion? No, I don't think abortion should be used as a form of fucking birth control. I think that there are cases, many different circumstances, where a woman is all in her right to make that decision. And that's where I say I'm pro mind my own fucking business, because that's not my business, miss. That's yours. But when it's coming to, like, using it as birth control, I mean, that's fucked up. To me, that's murder because it's the intent behind it. It's the not caring. I'm not ready. Anyways, I think that men should have a right to sign over the rights. I mean, and women say, oh, then you're going to have a bunch of, single dads and blah, blah, blah. I actually don't think you would. And what's funny is, there's lots of moms that fuck off and leave dad with the kid. Just fuck off. The same way that dads do. And dads don't go after them for child support. They don't do anything. They raise those kids. I know lots. I've talked to lots of them. It would work if people just sacrificed their comfort. I call it personally, I think it's gender entitlement. I think as women, that's some awful fucking big entitlement. Especially what I seen tonight with my friend Dennis. My friend. he put his foot down and said, he was all in his rights to. He said, I'm going to pay half the mortgage. I'm not paying your half. There's a man that has been introduced to his children. He hasn't been introduced to. They've only been dating for a couple weeks. He's already spending nights over there. So he said, I'm not paying utilities for one house that I'm not living in anymore, but I'm especially not paying them for another man. I'm not paying for another man to use my shit. He said, I would love to still give you that $500. However, I'm withholding it until you can tell me exactly what you need it for, because it's disappearing and you're not buying groceries. She has new shoes, but there's no fucking groceries. So, just think that's really fucked up. Her response to him was, you're trying to control me. This won't stand in court. You're going to have to back pay me all of this. Who the fuck are we to be so fucking entitled to their money, man? It makes me so mad. He asked a lawyer for legal advice, and she said, nah, you're actually paying less than what they would get you to pay in court, so yeah, you should keep paying it. He asked if he was legally supposed to pay, if he was legally obligated to pay insurance for a vehicle that his name was not on. And she said, that was her response. Already planning ahead on how to fuck him out of his money. That's the system we live in, ladies and gentlemen. You want to talk about oppression? Yeah. I'm just going to leave you with that.